Hi, Year 8. Really sorry I couldn't be at school today, but we're still doing our lesson. So today we're looking at travel graphs. If you have any questions, you can message me on Teams, and I hope you guys get the most out of this video. So a travel graph shows the distance traveled from a certain point over time. Distance and time. So the vertical axis, and we know vertical, so straight up and down axis, is our distance. And the horizontal axis, that is our time. Both axes must include units, e.g. we've got our kilometers and our hours, so e.g. kilometers, hours. Reading the graph. So if it's got a steep incline, so if the incline is steep, like this here, they are traveling fast. If it's got a gentle incline, such as if it was traveling at an angle such as this line here, they would be traveling slow. Now if it's flat, such as this section at the top, that flat section here, that means they have stopped. So if we were to describe this story in front of us, we start at time 0 and we're traveling an hour, so after 1 hour we've traveled 2 kilometers away from home. So after 1 hour we've traveled 2 kilometers away from home. We've traveled at a constant speed. Then we stop for half an hour. So we travel for 1 hour away from home and then we stop. We then continue traveling at the same rate as before, the same speed, for another hour. And we are now 4 kilometers away from home. We then stop for an hour and travel back home at the same speed, and it takes us 1-2 hours to get home. We know that they're traveling at the same speed because the lines have the same slope. So our first 2 diagonal lines are parallel. So if this line continued up and this line continued down, we would see that those 2 lines are parallel. Okay, so each of these distance/time graphs shows a person's journey from home. Match each graph with the correct description of that journey. So, A. Jacinta walks slowly away from home, stops for a short time, then continues walking away from home at a fast pace, and finally stops again. So that is going to be, so A is going to be our middle graph. So she starts walking slowly away from home, she stops, she walks quickly away from home, which is a steep incline, and stops again. Okay, example 2, B, we've got Jeremy walks quickly away from home, briefly stops, then continues walking slowly away from home and stops again. So quickly is a steep incline, so either of them can start, stops, walks slowly further away from home, and then stops again. So that means hopefully the last one, C, is our final graph. Haley walks quickly away from home, that's looking good to start, then stops briefly, quick stop. She then turns around and walks back home. There we go. So when we're doing these, you've got to kind of picture that the graph is from a bird's eye view. So it's if we're looking at the blue graph, she didn't walk up a mountain and go back down. She was walking on a, could be any surface. She was walking away from home, stopped, came back to home. So it's like a bird's eye view. Okay, now the last instruction, or the last activity I want you to do by yourselves, and then I want you to swap it with a person and see if they, and now you can have a look at each other's examples. So write a story that could describe the journey displayed in the travel graph. Now this is the one from the start, Dan's walking trek. Now I want you to be creative, proper sentences. So it could be something along the lines of, Dan left home to travel to the shops. Along the way, he stopped to pick some flowers. Dan then continued walking towards the shops. Once he got to the shops, he stopped at the shops and purchased, I don't know, some bananas. It was a nice sunny day, so he decided he would walk back home, and he walked straight home, straight past the flowers, and that was the end of his day. I would recommend you guys write a more interesting story than the one I came up with. However, that will do, okay? So write a story, swap it with the person next to you, have a look, mark it, make sure the right grammar has been used, full capitals at the start, full stops at the end. Do your best, be creative.